Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 7th day of July, 2011. It's been a while since I talked to you. And yes, I hope you've had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Remember something. The pleasure that you exhibit now, the things that you enjoy, were based in sweat, blood, and tears of the innocent and the brave. So many things that are going on in America. I would like to talk to you today, and the title today will be Federal Money, the Pathway to Freedom or Tyranny. Over the past 30 years, I've been studying all these different things. The Federal Reserve, the IRS, the banking system, all these different things. And there had been one common denominator in all of these things. Every single one of them had some sort of a treaty or a contract of cohesion with the United Nations. Now, I'm not going to bash them because I've never seen anything that they ever got involved with that got better. And if you look into the United Nations and understand the United Nations and realize that they were formerly, it goes all the way back to the Dutch East Indies Corporation. They were slavers and dopers and everything. People don't get, their techniques only get highly refined. They get better at creating the illusion as they look more legitimate, okay? The best drug dealers in the world come from the pharmacy, you know. They're guys with 3-piece suits and a stethoscope around their neck, the medical profession. It's all tied together. Now, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I just want to give you the facts. And if they do seem to be a bunch of independent dots, okay, and that you connect and you come to the end solution, you formulate a solution that has an end result that comes into a conspiracy, perhaps you've discovered that conspiracies do exist. Now, I like guys in public office. I mean, you have congressmen and senators, and you have a president, and you have these people that you've entrusted to do your bidding. Okay, your bidding, not the bidding of the corporation that buys and sells them like cheap hookers. Okay, we're talking about us, American citizens. I am an American citizen. Now, do you honestly think that the actions of our government, or the actions of our military, or our foreign policies are dictated by the will of our people? No, they are dictated by the bankers and the special interests that make the most noise. Unfortunately, folks, you people have been conditioned by the media to remain silent, to be politically correct, not to make noise. Don't make waves. Don't do this. Don't do that. And before you know it, they'll be counting how many sheets of toilet paper you use when you wipe yourself. What happened to America? You gave it away. We just looked at a trial about somebody who irresponsibly didn't watch their child, and whether they killed them themselves, they should have been hung anyway. You know why? You didn't watch your child. And the first tenet of humanity is protecting your own. Now, I don't want to say I want to have an isolationist attitude, but don't you think that America should start protecting its own? Okay? And we're going to talk about stuff that's kind of fringy and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I understand that you may not buy into everything I say, but I'll tell you something. There's nobody that's going to find fault with everything I say. All right? Now, protecting our own. They try to pretend that we are all this global family. Well, if the entire globe is eating out of your pocket, possibly they're right. But they're not holding their own. All right? And we're subsidizing many countries that should not be subsidized. We're subsidizing countries that have attacked us. We're subsidizing countries that rob us. We're subsidizing countries that spy on us. Why? Because the congressmen and the senators are getting paid off. That's simple. The Justice Department, oh, they'll look at a guy like me, you know, but they won't look at a guy that's sitting in a White House, you know, who, if he was a dog, they would have put him down already as an unregistered mutt. Unbelievable. I don't want to get off the case. Remember, we're going to talk about federal money now. But I want to first tell you people something. Ron Paul has been saying this for a long time. We need to get out of the United Nations. But you know who's been saying it a lot longer? The John Birch Society. The John Birch Society says that all of America's woes were going to come from the United Nations, and they're absolutely right. Okay? Let's start with free money. Okay? You have an airport. Okay? We're going to work ourselves into the TSA. You have an airport. Okay? And you need a little bit bigger runway, or you need a little infrastructure, some new implements of moving baggage or something like that. There's a federal loan for you. Yeah, you come fill out this federal loan. We offer you this federal loan, and they give you this contract. And on this contract it says, well, you will abide by all federal loans, all federal laws, regulations, and treaties. Okay, well, that sounds pretty good. You sign for your governor or county commissioner or whoever is in charge of overseeing the budgeting of that airport, signs for that loan. They get the money. Everything is cool, right? Well, Department of Highway. We're gonna make available to you a grant for you to beef up the overpass on your highway. You have overpasses that go over the highway. We're going to upgrade them to 80 tons. Okay? What do you got to do? Well, you got to sign that piece of paper right here. Right? And all you have to do from that point on is sign the piece of paper here. And the condition of the loan is you will abide by federal laws, regulations, and treaties. Okay? You got to learn the contract vernacular. You see, we as Americans have been conditioned to think in general terms. The traders think in very technical terms. Okay? You remember years ago, your grandfather used to say, read the fine print, read everything. Because most contracts are voided right in their title. And these things are very explicitly written to get jurisdiction. Do you people understand jurisdiction? Okay? A football umpire doesn't have any jurisdiction in a baseball game. Okay? Understand? That's the wrong field of jurisdiction. All right? Now, we're going to go to TSA now. All right? Now, we have very, very smart people that I do not believe are unaware of all of the circumstances, but are generating a lot of hoopla, getting people fired up, especially in Texas recently, when they failed to limit the power of the TSA in the airport in Texas. Okay? It was for good reason. Because the state of Texas, the county that it resides in, and the sheriff of that county have absolutely no jurisdiction in the airport. When there's a designation of international airport that has accepted a loan, even the loan of the sign, the change of the sign, they come under United Nations treaty jurisdiction. That is sovereign territory of the United Nations. Now, you've got guys like Richie Mack, who is a friend of mine. I know him for many years. And he's absolutely correct in everything he says. And he's a courageous, good American. But the jurisdiction, the sheriff does not have jurisdiction on sovereign UN territory. That's where they fall short. Okay? Now, how can they tell people not to use a U.S. highway? Well, you took a loan to improve it, right? And you will abide by, the laws, regulations, and rules of the federal government, and observe all of its laws and treaties. Okay. Well, all of a sudden, you have excluded yourself from your own highway. Okay. Now, let's get back to the TSA. I'm just giving you a little bit of a rounded idea of where I'm going with this. Okay. Now, the jurisdictional problem. You can come up with everything except everything except a riot. Where the people just go to the airport, pick up the machines, and throw them through the window. I don't think the United Nations has the peacekeeping forces there to maintain or quell that type of a riot. But I'm sure the traders in Homeland Security and TSA have their own little security detail. But anyway, getting back to the TSA, the only way that we can take back the airport and stop these TSA people from groping, okay? The only way that it can be done is if you break the UN treaty, okay? Because by breaking the UN treaty, if you were to break that UN treaty, they would not have the sovereign territory of that airport. Now, maybe you might have to give them back some money at the county level or whatever, but for the freedom of movement. Now, there's another way to do this, folks. They can't take that stuff with them, but we can close them down. The United States of America pays almost 3/4 of the operating expenses of the United Nations, and we get one vote, and one vote only. Why is that? Does that sound fair? Now, Mr. Ron Paul, you're going to get a copy of this. You watch my stuff. You're going to get a copy of this. I would like to see you draft legislation just to slow them up, because it'd be hard to get the United Nations out of here. But I would love to see you draft legislation that the country of the United States of America, the free people of the United States of America, will not tolerate the spending of any more than $1 US more than the least contributing member of the United States, because we only get one vote. You want to be fair? It's going to be very hard to push, because the bankers are really getting what they want. The end road from the CFR and the Rockefeller Foundation and the Rothschilds and everything is, the end road around the Constitution has always been the United Nations. The only way you're going to defeat the New World Order is to kick the United Nations off our shores and get them out of our lives. You're going to be paying carbon credits. Whose idea do you think this is? Who do you think regulates it? Who's laughing in those townhouses in New York? Oh, look what we got the idiots to do this time. Oh, we got their kids are getting fondled at the airport. Believe me, we can get away with this. It's not all about getting away with anything, folks. You've been getting away with this nonsense for too long. It's about time people reached down, coughed, and remember they had a pair. This is America. Americans, stay strong.